Hi, I'm Dr. Beth, a yoga teacher and a clinical psychologist. One of the ways that yoga can benefit us is by helping us to feel safe and grounded in our bodies. So today we are going to use a wall to help with that sense of stability while also allowing us to go a little bit more deeply into some of the stretches. So the only prop will be the wall and your mat set up near the wall, and we are going to start with some standing poses. So to begin, we're going to back up toward the wall for chair pose. Now, chair pose against the wall gives us some nice support while also helping us to strengthen our lower body. So you might set up about 8 inches, maybe a little further away from the wall. Feet are about parallel, wherever it's comfortable. And then we'll start sitting back toward the wall, trying to find the wall with our tailbone. And so I just found the wall there. Once you find yourself at the wall, then you can make adjustments. You can decide whether to bend your knees a little bit more and sit more into the pose. You might open your arms in sort of a cactus position, reaching the backs of the hands toward the wall. You can also place the hands at the center of your heart, pressing them together for an additional sense of stability and grounding. Let's stay here for a few moments. Feel the sensation arising in your body from this pose while letting the wall behind you help you. Your body is just grazing the wall enough to get some support. And then from here, place your hands on the top of your thighs. Start to let your tailbone slide up the wall as you hinge forward from the hips. We're coming into a forward fold. Now you can stop with your hands resting on your thighs, your upper body parallel to the floor, and stay here. Or you might choose to continue letting your tailbone slide up the wall, maybe holding your arms, releasing your head, coming into a ragdoll position. Hold and breathe for a few moments. And then root down into your feet. Hands can come back to your body. Tailbone starts to slide back down the wall. As you stand back up, find your mountain pose. So let's do that one more time. We're looking for that sense of grounding into your feet, energizing your body by feeling the muscular action and allowing the wall to help us stay stable. I'm going to start to bend my knees, sit my hips back. You might have to adjust your distance from the wall. When I find the wall, snuggle my tailbone, really my sits bones right up to the wall. Maybe I can upright myself a little bit more, searching for widening across my chest. Hands can stay grounded on your body, reach out to the side. They could also come up and overhead if you prefer. And we'll take a full breath here, feeling the power of our bodies holding us here. Hands come down to your thighs. Find your standing forward fold. And still stay leaning against the wall a little bit here. Let your body release. Take a long exhale, maybe sighing it out through the mouth. And then let your hands slide up your body as you come back up to stand once more, finding your mountain pose. Okay, for our next sequence, we're going to step a little bit away from the wall because we'll be stepping back on a diagonal, finding our goddess pose, our goddess squat to either side. And we'll do a few repetitions of this. This time we're going to be using the wall on our hands to help us open up the upper body a little bit more. So to start, we'll be in mountain pose. Have a little light bend in your knees. Your knees are loose because we're going to be stepping back with your left foot first. So take a breath in to prepare. On your exhale, step back. We're looking for our toes to go away from each other, you might have your toes touch the wall in the back, and then bend into your knees, finding your goddess squat as you push into the wall with your backhand. So I really feel the shoulder blade of my back arm activating, pushing me into this pose. Your back knee may touch the wall or not, it doesn't matter. You might feel a lot of that energy of the legs that we already activated in chair pose. And then push into your front foot, pushing off your back foot and back hand, coming back to the front. Hands can come to your side in mountain pose, or if you prefer that hand pressed together, perhaps thumb tips touch lightly at your heart to help with that sense of centering. And then let's do the second side. So this time your right foot is going to take a big step back, finding the wall with your hand and your back foot, and then bending both knees so that the knees open out over the toes. You can take both arms up. Again, if you'd like more grounding, maybe keep the front hand on your front thigh as you press into that back hand. Breathing in here. And then feel the stability of your front foot as we press off the back foot and back hand, standing back in our mountain pose. Let's do that once more. Notice how it takes a little balance as you step back and a balance as you step forward. So we'll just take one breath on each side. Get ready to prepare. Step back toward your left. Breathe in and exhale into your pose. And then on the next breath in, feel that momentary balance as you shift to your front leg, stepping forward, finding your mountain pose. One more time on your right. Take a breath in to prepare. Exhale, step back, finding your goddess squat. Exhale here. Take a breath in and then exhale, strongly step back to the front. Find your balancing centering here in your mountain pose. Okay, one more standing pose. For this standing pose, we're going to step back to the wall again. We'll start similarly to chair pose, but this time we're going to go into a yoga squat and then make our way to the floor. So now your feet will be a little wider apart, perhaps as wide as the edges of your mat, depending on how you have your mat oriented. They can be parallel or maybe toes turned out a little bit. We'll start just like we did in chair pose, where we're letting our letting our sits bones or our tailbone come to the wall. Now you might want to scoot your feet a little further out because instead of leaning forward or hinging like we do in chair pose, this time we're going to stay more upright. You can let your shoulder blades take the wall if that's comfortable. And then when you find your arms, look for this cactus shape, and maybe this time the backs of your arms, backs of your hands can move toward the wall, finding a little bit more shoulder stretch. If that doesn't work for you, keep your hands out in front or any variation that you like. And then with that support of the wall, we're going to explore, is there any room to find a little bit of a deeper squat? And again, adjust your feet out. We don't want any pain in the knees. So if you feel like you're stressing the knee joint, let your feet scooch out a little bit. Find a place you can sustain for a breath or two in your squat pose. Maybe one more full breath in and out. And then on your next out breath, as you sigh it out, let your whole body slide down, finding the floor, appreciating being on the floor. And then we'll turn ourselves around and face the wall for the start of our floor poses. Okay, so now we're going to turn to face the wall and we're going to practice boat pose at the wall. So again, the wall adds that sense of stability. It helps us with our balance so we can feel grounded at the same time that we're practicing stretching our body and learning to balance. Let's turn to face the wall, and you'll probably want to be about the length of your shin away from the wall, perhaps a little further. And when we're using the wall, we always experiment a little bit to find the right distance. I'm going to turn around and I'm on my sits bones, sort of how we were in chair pose. So I'm not sitting straight up, I'm not leaning way back, I'm slightly hinged back. And I'm going to find the wall with my feet. Now you can either hold underneath your thighs, you're already doing boat pose here. You might choose to lean back on your hands. Sometimes I call this boat in dry dock. And if you're doing this version, you can actually welcome in a little back bend by lifting your chest toward the sky, engaging your upper back, your shoulder blades. So this can feel really nice. And then, of course, you have the option here to find more balance work. Keep your feet on the wall, perhaps reach your hands toward your feet. This has to engage the abdominals, so boat pose is a little bit of core strength as well. Core strength is so important for our stability. And you also have the option to walk your feet so that your knees are straighter, walking your feet up the wall. You can do this version with the hands in any position. Let's take one more breath here. And then release. Bring your feet down. Sit yourself up for a moment. If you choose, you might wish to round forward, take a little seated cat stretch. And then let's turn so that our side faces the wall. So find your side against the wall, perhaps a few inches, and then take your foot closest to the wall and bend it. We are going to do a seated twist. I like the wall for this because it might help you feel a different version of the stretch, maybe feel the stretch in areas that you don't usually feel it without using the wall, perhaps a little bit more upper back opening as you stretch around the torso. So wiggle on your sits bones. Make sure you're sitting on your sits bones so that you're sitting up. You can also be leaning back just a bit like we did in boat pose if that gives you more openness in the front of your body. An option to keep both legs straight here if that feels better for your twist. I'm going to keep this one leg bent, the leg closest to the wall. We'll be twisting toward the walls. Start to feel the twist from your lower abdomen, the area around your belly button, and then up through your thoracic spine, the area around your rib cage as you turn toward the wall. Hands find the wall. Now my front hand is touching the wall pretty lightly, but I'm using my back hand to press into the wall. So to help me find more engagement, more turn, not forced. In fact, I can go back and forth a little bit, rock in the twist to find this. And then find a place to sustain. Right now, I'm staring directly at the wall. You can also choose to turn your head back in the opposite direction or turn your neck along with the twist into the twist. Find a place to hold for a few more breaths. Then unwind, twist yourself back toward the front. If your knee was bent, give it a little shake out. We're going to swing our legs around so that we're facing the wall with the other side of the body. So my back is going to be a little bit toward you this time. Remember, both legs can be straight out here. You're on your sits bones, perhaps leaning back a little bit if you want more space. And you also have the option to bend the knee closest to the wall, any amount. If you're bending your knee, you might let your hands come around your shin, help your torso to grow tall to start. And then remember that we start revolving from the belly button up, moving up through the mid back to the upper back. Hands find the wall. And now that I'm on this side, you can maybe see a little bit more that I'm pressing with the back hand, drawing that shoulder blade more into my body as I find a degree of twist that feels comfortable to me, and maybe I move in and out of it a few times, allowing the wall to really help me explore here. And when you find the place that you're comfortable holding, choose a position for your neck, either looking back in the same direction as your twist, or maybe turning the other way. Take one more breath in your pose, and then unwind back to front. Give the legs a little shake out, and you can turn yourself back around. So let's find a pose to end the practice today. I'm going to end with a seated position, a seated forward fold. Forward folds help us to bend into our bodies and to release a little bit. If you're familiar with legs up the wall, this is a great place to try legs up the wall. You generally want to start with one hip to the wall and lean back and swing your legs up. So that's a great option too. And legs up the wall is a forward fold. It's a forward fold where our back is stable and we're in that basically a 90-degree position. I'm going to scooch so that my bottom tailbone is all the way against the wall. Even my sacrum is against the wall. And then the soles of my feet come together, forming a diamond shape. I'm going to start upright here, maybe even tuck the chin a little bit. Can you find the length of your spine? So I have my sacrum against the wall, my lower shoulder blades against the wall. My head's not quite touching the wall. You can experiment with tucking your chin and maybe pressing the back of your head against the wall. For me, it's more comfortable to let my head float. Hands resting on your body or by your side. Find somewhere where your hands can feel grounded, where they are touching something so that you can feel stable. And then with some parts of your back touching the wall, explore whether you can sense the breath moving in and out of your back body. So often we're aware of the breath in the front of the body, the chest, the abdomen. Our lungs are across the back as well. So when you breathe in, can you feel some expansion of the lungs in the back body? A contraction and release when you exhale. The option to stay right here and observe the breath. A few minutes of quiet breath observation. Or if you'd like to take this into more of a forward fold, start to hinge forward from the hips as if you're closing the door of your torso over your legs. And when you do this, you might find that you can scooch your tailbone a little closer to the wall as you hinge forward. Once you find your degree of hinge, this is about where I am today. You can stay upright and long in your torso, or you can start to release your chin, round your upper back, gently soften. Notice the effort that you put into this practice. Notice how the wall, the floor, your mat provided support for your body. Allow yourself to let go of effort. You are welcome to stay in your forward fold, your legs up the wall, or move into more of a traditional Shavasana lying on your back. This is where I'm going to leave you today. Thank you for being here. I hope you leave today feeling more grounded, more stable, and more stretched out in your body. Have a great rest of your day.